Hello and welcome to Fire in the Belly. And today we have a boardroom talk here with Evelyn McAleer. Good afternoon, Evelyn.
Good afternoon, Pete.
Lovely to see you again. And of course, this you're no stranger to Fire in the Belly. We've had you on for your life story talks and getting great feedback. So thank you for that.
And thank you so much. It was a wonderful interview. Definitely a man with a multitude of questions. We never know where they'll go. We'll never know where this will go the night either.
Well, tonight, really what we wanted to talk about is about being ready. So if we said being ready, what does that mean to you?
Well, for me, being ready, Pete, is an everyday thing. And more actually to the point, the word prepare, that is a word that seems to come up quite a lot for me. Prepare. Every day I get up, prepare, prepare, prepare. Now, I might ask the question, what am I preparing for? But I always prepare. And I think for being ready or to prepare is to be the best version that we can be this day for ourselves, first and foremost. And I think in being that, we can be the best version or of best service to others. So before, when this corona kicked in too, I realized I was very well prepared, even though I didn't know what the event that was actually coming up. But yeah, I was prepared for this. I had everything that I required, and I was ready. And all I had to do was just to change the thinking and how to adapt to a situation that was not familiar. So I think for everybody to be ready, get up in the morning and be the best version of yourself. You know, it's what time to arise at, how to present myself today, just to be the best version you can be, and how you set your mindset for today. So that's ready in preparation for me, Pete.
So talk to us that you talked about your best version. How do you go about that, and how would you recommend others to go about it?
Well, definitely first thing in the morning, always. It's how you begin your day. And as soon as I open my eyes, I say thank you. Because for me, in my head, it's the beginning of the rest of your life. Every day is the beginning of the rest of your life. And every step that I take to that bathroom to wash my face, brush my teeth, it's always gratitude, always gratitude. And and then that's it. You're up at a decent time and preparing myself for today before anybody else even awakens in the house. And I'd sit for a wee while in meditation and just put my intentions. If I know what I am to do for that day, that I have a mental picture of that day, but in that present moment, rather than going ahead to the rest of the day, for me, being ready is when I prepare myself in the morning and when I close my eyes at night, what the last things is going through my mind, and the rest of it always takes care of itself, no matter what comes your way.
Give us the other side of it then. So to not be ready and to not go through that. I mean, how would that affect you?
Oh dear. I wouldn't even want to go down that road because I've been down that path too many times. Especially when you have teenage boys in the house. If I did not prepare myself, if I lay on or if I didn't, I'll not get up too early today and up, and if I was late, if I haven't mentally done gratitude or prepared myself or give thanks for today, I know when I open a bedroom door and I ask teenage boys to get up, the reception that I am greeted with. So if I am not on the best vibration that I can be at that time, our house would just go into complete and utter turmoil. uh, then I think we just go into reaction mode, automatic reaction mode. When somebody says something, you fire back, you bite back. We're late. You haven't got this done. And then, do you know what? It continues throughout your day. If you're late in the morning, then you'll be late going to your work. Somebody will drive out in front of you. You forget something. Somebody will say something to you, and you just manifest the rest of your day. And by God, when you close your eyes at night or go to close your eyes, it'll be an amalgamation of things that I should have done, I could have done, he said this, she done that. Old, even anger, and your body's exhausted, your mind's exhausted. And then when you don't clear that out, it goes, the subconscious, it's all absorbed, and even when you're sleeping. And sure enough, the next morning when you're waking up, it's probably still lingering there some road as well. So I think when we've had enough of those not prepared days, you soon prepare yourself.
Interestingly, you talk about, can you break down what you would call gratitude, just for anyone that's not sort of used to this sort of talk?
Well, gratitude is giving thanks. It's just a simple thank you. And it's a thank you for those things that we do a lot take for granted. Thank you for my running water. Thank you for my body, my feet, my legs, my arms. I thank everything, because when you feed something with gratitude, when you feel the gratitude, because certainly our mouths can open and we can say thank you. Oh, thanks for my tea. Thanks for my dinner. And it's manners as we think, but do we actually feel the gratitude? Because it's the feeling that's all in that. And the more that you do give thanks, this is about all energy, what you project from yourself. Everything else starts changing in your life, and you will only see gratitude for everything, regardless of the situation. It becomes just part of daily practice and daily habit. And it's seeing the gratitude more so, Pete, in things that we would find fault with. Where people say, well, sure, how would I find gratitude in somebody falling out with me today? How do I find gratitude with my ex-boss? And those are the situations where people find it difficult to give gratitude. It's very easy to say give gratitude when things are going great for us, but when things aren't going so great, people find very little to be grateful for. But and they'll find fault. But as I always say to my daughter here, if she finds fault in her hair, her nose, I say now, Rose, be mindful, because what will happen is, and this will happen in all our lives, that you only think that's a problem, because the more you feed something that is not of gratitude, you'll actually get it back worse again. And then you'll be grateful for what you once had, or you'll wish you hadn't. Like being locked down. Do we ever give gratitude in the morning? Thank you so much that I am fit and healthy and well to be going out to my work. Thank you so much for the people that I get to meet on a daily basis. Thank you so much for the hugs that I receive, and the handshakes, all of them things that have now been taken away that we really do miss. And and then what is sometimes when something's taken away from us, when you receive it back, you're more grateful for it. So it's keeping in mind of that gratitude, and not letting it slip away from us.
Just interestingly, obviously, one of your books is in the background there saying effortless. I mean, is gratitude and effortless, are they interlinked for you?
It has become effortless for me, Pete. When the diesel light comes on in my car, I say, thank you for reminding me. If I hit my toe on the corner of the bed, I say, thank you for reminding me that I wasn't in the present moment. And normally what happens is that my thoughts has gone into next week, next month, tomorrow, and I'm not present. So there'd always be a wee reminder, and I say thank you for that reminder. So it becomes effortless, but it doesn't come without putting in the practice and preparing yourself and making it become a habit. And it absolutely becomes effortless, and everything else starts flowing that way.
Just give people a little bit of a background, when this turning point and this gratitude came into play for you, and how long you've practiced this.
When I think back, I always think that it's like loads of years ago, but it probably isn't that many years ago. Like I started on about 3 years ago now on the coaching avenue. And if somebody had probably said to me about saying gratitude or giving thanks for this or that, I'd have thought they were in cuckoo land. Or it's all right for you. You don't have the life that I have. So it became that good things were happening. And I would say thank you for that. And I started to learn about gratitude. I started to learn about energy and what we omit from ourselves, through our thoughts, through our words, through our actions, through our feelings. And I thought, well, if I could train myself then to be in a feeling of gratitude, and it was just a rethinking or a retweaking of the thought every time, and flipping the coin over. how life would be different. And I tell you now, life has completely changed, totally different when I find gratitude in every single thing. Everything will always be gratitude.
And did you foresee this in yourself, where your life has come to? Because, I mean, as you say, you've come a long way in a short time. Did you see this happening, and do you see where you're going?
No, I didn't definitely see this coming. If you had shown me a picture of this, me sitting with 2 books behind you, I'd have been like, who photoshopped me in that picture? Why is my face on that book? Absolutely not. It was never, I get something like this would have been too hard to believe. It would have been, no, it would have been impossible. How would I have done it? Sure, I don't even have my English language. How would I write a book? Where would I get the money? Who publishes book? What do you do? So one would have been even a stretch, never mind 2. So that was never in the pipeline at all. It was just as when I was coaching people, and I loved the law of attraction, learn about law of attraction, going from spiritualism about the spirit into energy, and they're all the same. It's just different terminology that's used. So that again was the feeling I really connected with, and I believed it because I knew exactly when we change the thought or vision or act as if something is happening, that's how it occurs into our life. So when I was coaching clients, all these things was happening for them. And so I had a collection of stories that people could relate to. Every day people could relate to on how to change their lives. So somebody said to me, you should write a book. And I says, all right, well, that's how the first book came about. So, but I had a coach at that time as well. And he would keep me accountable how many chapters we wrote, many chapters, because Pete, if I was doing it on my own, I probably would have wrote like a lot of people do. We write for a wee bit and then I was like, it's not gonna happen, just put it to the side. So I loved the writing of it because again it was effortless, the first book, because I had the stories. There was nothing made up. Everything was truth. And it's always it's easy to remember when it's truth and when it's from your heart. And that's how the first book came out. And everything flowed to me too, because again, I didn't know, number one, how much is this going to cost? Who publishes books? But I always said a wee affirmation that this book, I knew that book was out there, by the way, when I was writing this, because I visualized, I seen it going out. Whoever this book is to go to, it's going to go to. I just kept, because I knew there were people in the same situation that I once was in, asking whoever they pray to or talk to or nobody, and just saying, I need help. I need something. So I just kept saying, hold on, it's on its way. So, and I just kept saying that the right people will come along at the right time at an affordable price for this wee book to go out. And that's exactly how it happened, Pete.
Love it, love it. And just interesting there, would you say there's a connection, you mentioned about a coach, for you being ready and a coach, are they intrinsically linked to each other?
Yes, I think, as I say, like when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. Because we all have great intentions of doing something, and then we sort of back out every time. But that I've had several different mentors and coaches throughout this short space of the 3 years. But again, it was connecting to the feeling. I wanted to, after my own, from starting from the lady that trained me, she was out in Lanzarote. I done online with her and then went out and had one-to-one with her. But then I also had a business mentor to help me with the business end of stuff, with the website and things. And there were several people that I contacted, but I didn't feel it. It was cold. And whoever I always wanted to work with, that they were from their heart, that they understood, they could see your vision, and they were there to help you and assist you. Thankfully, I've been so blessed that those are the people that I have attracted into life. And these were all at times too, Pete, when I had very little money. And you know, when coaches come in, like everybody has to get paid for their work. But when that's the thing, when you want to do something or you believe in something and believe in yourself, you'll find the money. Should you have to borrow it or do something, but you'll find it in order and to pay and receive that service because you feel a connection. And yeah, but definitely, and still to this day, I have a coach. Definitely. I think
It's
everybody
amazing.
should have one.
So that's the thing. So obviously you're a coach yourself. I mean, what do you know, what do you tend to coach about, and you know, what do you look for in a student?
Well, before anybody would come to me really for coaching, I always have a conversation with them because I always remember my coach, my first coach, whenever we had that conversation, she wanted to feel if I was a fit for her and vice versa. So I always want to feel that for any potential clients that come to me, to have a conversation, to get to know them, to get a feeling about them. And what is it? What is their visions? What is it they want to achieve? What is it they want to change in life? And if I said to somebody, look, you're going to write a book, you're going to have one wrote within the next year, I wouldn't even start like that because they would find that very difficult to believe. But certainly, if somebody feels, I have a book in me, but I don't know how to do it, that's not a bother. We can get that done. But so the conversation always to see if somebody's a fit. Some people are, some people aren't. And it's the same. People may find that I'm not a fit for what their purpose, what they want. But each person that will come to me, not one shoe fits all. Not one particular mode of coaching will suit every client. And that's where the feeling always comes in and the listening comes in, and where the effortless flow between two people that are connected rather than just having a structure, because it's not going to suit every single person. Some people, when I speak to them, are into spiritualism, and that's our energy. They have a strong belief in that, so we'll talk and they can understand that part, and we'll talk things about that. There's some people that is too fluffy duffy, that stuff, so I'll have a different structure and a more practical way of coaching people. But at the end of the day, with every single person, no matter who they are, everything boils down to feelings and emotions and a change of thought, and that's how we change life.
Love it. Can I just check, is fluffy duffy a technical term?
I'm not too sure.
I love it. I love your wee
You
sayings.
told me that
It's
was the
great.
name of your first girlfriend, Fluffy Duffy.
Oh, she was a lovely girl. Oh, what can I say? So let's just break it down for us. So anyone that's listening in, really, when you say vibration, what do you mean by that?
Well, everything is vibration. You know, we have this term which people use and say, God, I got a great vibe. Wasn't there a great vibe there? So the vibe is the vibration, and it's stemmed from somewhere. So it's a feeling that you pick up. You know, you mightn't even have a conversation with someone, but you pick up that vibe. You know, you get something from them. So vibration is what we omit really from ourselves, and it depends on where the thought is and what the feeling of your body is on what you're transmitting. Just like a television, and it's on frequencies. So the lower your vibration is, the more you will attract that of a lower vibration, and that is vibrations of, if you've got anger, jealousy, judgment, and we have the human emotion of mourning and grief. Of course we have, but if we're stuck on them, depression, anxiety, worry, very low vibrations, and you'll only attract, like everything, no matter what vibration you're on, you're going to keep attracting the same thing back into your life, because that's how it works. It's not that just life is, and life's throwing everything at me. Or we say, like, does the money go to money? Because that's what you're brought up to believe, and that's what people thought. So that's what they're thinking is, they just think that, and it just happens. So everything vibrates, even though it appears solid, everything's vibrating. And it's the same really that with music as well. It's all transported basically on a frequency. So we have music there that resonates with the frequency of the body and all of that. And yeah, and that's what vibration is. You can only attract, my mother used to say, fits finds or like for like. And that's where that all comes from, because you can only attract that into your life that you're in the same vibration of. And that's hard for people to understand sometimes, because a lot of women question, why am I constantly bringing the same type of man into my life? Or, a man will say the same about a woman. Why am I always getting them type of women in my life? Because you're attracting them by the thoughts that you've held from a past event in your subconscious. And that's what you're omitting by the talk, by what you're saying, and your thoughts and your feelings and your actions.
How how can you check your own results, if that makes sense? So say you're attracting somebody else, and attracting the person that maybe isn't right for you. You know, how do we know that it's right for us or not?
Well, how do you know if something's right for you or not?
Hmm.
Well, you'll feel it. You'll
Okay.
know. You'll know. Like if that shirt was too tight on you, would you know?
I
Or was
know
it
it
too
is.
big? No, I'm not saying. No, I didn't know. You see, that's that old psychic ability of mine kicking.
That's called 8 weeks of COVID.
No, I didn't mean that there. I just
Oh,
meant
sorry.
that you know what I mean? You'd feel it. If whatever is in our life at the minute, whatever has been in our life, we've attracted it all into their lives on our vibration. And you just know how you're feeling. But people have this notion that it's not possible to be happy in life. You can't possibly be happy at your work. You can't possibly be happy at home. And certainly not every day. But if the majority of your days aren't really happy at what you're doing, you shouldn't be there. We stay in these positions that feel safe, but or they seem safe. There's a feeling of safety there, but it doesn't feel right. And I think why people sometimes they're afraid of change, what other people will think, what they will say about them. Even when I first started, talking about law of attraction or spirit or energy, that there's that fear because nobody else, in this neck of the woods, or and everybody knows everybody around the country. So, but I knew there was a feeling in me that had to come, that I had to speak out, and I had to step past that fear. And I knew the way that I was not talking or the way that I was behaving, it didn't feel right. But I stayed in that not feeling right for other people.
I mean, it does make sense, and I keep coming back, I suppose, mentally to obviously you're a dance instructor as well, and there, with a dance instructor, you're listening to music, so musical vibration, but you're potentially also dancing with a partner who's on a vibration, and I'm sure some people are better partnered with others, right?
I'm sure that I, yes. I don't have a dance partner, please. I'm a solo dancer.
That's it. It's all well, because remind me, you're mainly salsa and a mix of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, no, I do partner dance as well. I'm kidding. What was the question? Sorry, please.
I was saying, I was likening it to, I suppose, the vibration and the music, and getting into your flow and getting to a state that you feel most natural.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's not to say that, like, if you were taken into dancing as an example, it's about that time, it's about that presence, it's about that connection, regardless of what anybody's doing. It's that feeling of connection of, we're on the same, that's what people say too. We're not really on the same frequency, or we're not on the same radar. We're completely on two different levels
Hmm.
here altogether. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have the same interests. as people. Either you can be completely opposite with their interest, but definitely it's that feeling. But here's the thing: when we attract what we attract into our life that does not suit or is not for us, it all boils down to self. What I believe to be true about myself, how I feel about myself. And if you're coming from any place of lack of anything, that something is missing, that you require or you want a new partner in your life because you feel lonely and you want somebody to fix the loneliness. Well, you see, you're coming from this place of lonely, I'm lonely, I'm lonely, and you're feeling that loneliness. So you're on quite a low vibration there, and you're going to attract in someone that what we do is we attach to that person. And yes, they have fixed the loneliness problem. They've fixed that. But what happens when that person steps away, or that we stay in that situation? Like they could be, if they're obviously in that same vibration too, there's something just that they're operating on a lower level, that they can't be, somebody is manipulating, somebody is controlling. That's when always be mindful of how, what our intention is, where we're attracting from, what the initial, what the feeling is, because we can't affirm the words, I am going to ask the universe for a wonderful, loving man who loves dancing, has a wonderful car, great house, loving person, da da da. The list is endless. But what's the feeling? The feeling is that I am so lonely. I actually feel a bit ugly. So if somebody was to tell me, you look nice, that'll help me. So, do you know what I mean? We have to feel that all within ourselves first and act as though it is taking place. Be on the best vibration possible, anything that we're attracting. But it's happening all the time anyway, by law of attraction. So it's better to attract what you want rather than what you don't want.
You say you were talking to somebody now that was maybe in a difficult situation, a circumstance or whatever, and they just had this itch and thought there must be more. I mean, what would your advice be to them on that?
Well, the answer is there is more. There's a hell of a lot more. And there's still a hell of a lot more that for me, for everybody, I don't think we'll actually know the whole more thing, what it is, until sometime. Yes, there is absolutely something more. If when you say they're in a situation, is this with a partner or at work, or what is their situation?
I think it just any outside influence, the fact that they just feel that they're maybe not reaching their potential, say.
Well, if somebody has that within them that they really want to achieve, that there is something that they've always wanted to do, that is what a coach will keep you accountable. They will help you to achieve that. But you have to have the fight and the will and the want to change. There is nothing outside of any one of us is ever going to change to make us feel different. And we get a wee bit lazy. This is why people, when they hear that they have to change, I have to make the change within me in order for these things to happen. Whereas we'd rather that the things changed about outside of us and then we'll feel happy. But it's not the way that it works. But for anybody that has a vision or a dream, it is possible. I don't care what your qualifications are. I don't care where you live and I don't care if you're on benefits. None of them things matter. If you have the vision, if you see it and you feel it, everything is possible. Because as you see it in your mind, you'll hold it in your hand.
You talk about, well, one of the things you mentioned earlier was visualization. How would you describe visualization?
For me, to visualize something is acting as though it's already there. I just, it's like when you were a child. Children are the best example. Or maybe, and the children now are growing up a wee bit quicker than once upon a time, because most girls my age when we were growing up, you pretended. you played housey, you had the baby, you had the, women were manifesting being mummies and wives at no age, and so it's that visualizing, it's the feeling. So here's the example I can give for what I am, and it's going to happen. It's already happened. My timeline just hasn't caught up with it yet. A house in Tenerife that I am going to live in for about 6 months of the year, in before a certain date that I have in mind anyway. So what I've done in this time, this lockdown period, every morning I woke up, I was in Tenerife, and I love home. So I always affirm, no matter where I live, it always has that feeling of home. I want the feeling of home brought with me wherever I go. So when I would open my curtains in the morning, when I say thank you, I'd open the blinds and I see the view of that house, because I've been to that house in Tenerife. I know the view, and I would see that view in my mind's eye, and say thank you. I actually will create an entire day that I'm in Tenerife, and thankfully we've had sun. So I'd get up and I'd say, now if you're in Tenerife, what would you do? Well, I'd have the shorts on, bit of the sun cream, the smell of the sun cream. What else would you do today? Well, I'll put on a bit of Tenerife radio station, and then I'll learn uso mi tiempo en mañana, aprendo mi español para cuando vivo en Tenerife. So I use my time in the morning to learn Spanish for when I move to Tenerife. So you create it as though that it's, the visualize that it's there. But well before that, anyway, before that one had all sort of kick-started for me. I remember, and I've wrote about it in the book, opening again everything I must visualize it out through my bedroom window, and looking down at a garage that was dilapidated, sort of practically run down, windows hanging out from this. And I used to visualize and see my dance studio. I'm going to have a dance studio there. And I could see people coming up and down. And I remember that day as if it was yesterday's, a real old, wet, windy day. And just saying, I can see people, I can hear the laughter, I can hear the sun, even though it wasn't there. And when I was at it, I visualised having a lovely white car in my back street, because I think I had a car at a couple of £100 at that stage. Well, sure, the car's there too. And I've seen that all. And but the question arises then, how will I afford that? And at that time, I wasn't earning, I was a single parent at that stage, So those are the blocks that can come into people's ways. How will I do that? Once you let go of the how, then what happens? But when, the when steps in, then we get, come on. And everything happens when you're ready. We think we're ready, but it happens actually when we're ready. So what happened from that, I came down, and this is actually where I'm at here now. And my brother was here one day, and he's had a partition. And I says, what are you doing? He says, this is the start of your dance studio. And when he put up one piece of timber, I knew that was it. That was the start of it. There was loads of work to be done, of course. So I received my dance studio. I've received loads and loads and loads of people here dancing. I've had a TV company in here. I've had Sunday Life actually rang out of the blue one day too, and they came and done a photo shoot here. And I had the white car on the back street as well. So that's how things happen.
Wow, I love it. It's great. I love the visualization side of it. Just out of interest, are men or women easier to change then?
Are men or women easier to change?
It's kind of a trick question. It's like
I think the majority of people that will come to me for coaching are women. However, the majority of people I am talking with during the week on the phone and conversations and business related are all men. So I can't say who is easier changed, to be honest with you, because a man likes to be listened to. I like listening to people. So definitely men, they do change. Look, the men's the men are easy to change. It depends on the approach you take with the man. If you're sharp, like who really wants to listen to somebody that's, or forceful? But when somebody, I think, look, there's no difference. I don't think if people want to make the change, they're going to make it. I think women can put their hands up firstly to say there's something not right here, I need to fix it, and they have no bother coming forth. But I think with men it could be a pride thing, maybe. But I can't really say who's the easy. I know who's the easiest to teach dancing to. I can answer that one.
All right, give us that one.
Women.
Really?
Women are easier to teach. No, but I love teaching the men. But I'll say to them, go on, leave the men here with me. They're like a wee puppy that you take to, one of them training schools, and they stay with me for a while. Yeah, but because the man has a big job in dancing.
Right.
And I actually love when a couple come through the door that I'm able to say to the woman, he's in charge now, and the man is in charge on the dance floor. And I can see the man's chest. You hear that now? That he gets whatever he says goes. But with dancing, like everything, it's 50-50. She needs to be as equally a good of someone to follow, and he has to lead. But a man is a hell of a lot. And he's pure out. He has to think of what the next move is, where my feet's going, where my hands is going. I know that for sure. When I'm teaching a man dancing, I can only show him one thing at a time. I'm not going to put the hands and the feet together tonight. We'll just do hands. And then when you learn them one move, they think over that to God. And they're actually thinking on the next move before they get to it. But the move then, say if I start off with a move with a man, and I think, God, I never get that, But when I introduce a second move, the first one, they get it straight away. Now the worry goes, oh, I'll never get this one, never get this one. When I add in a third move, I'll never get this one. And they get the first two easy. So it's just the way they think. Women can multitask a wee bit easier. It's just the way it operates. And there's no offense to men at all. You just have to take it at a slower pace. Actually, I'm laughing, thinking, do you know what? Sometimes they find difficult when I face the mirrors here, and we take, a couple of 3 steps. I show them like 3 or 4 steps up, straight, no bother. See when they have to reverse, do the same step but going back. It's difficult just to reverse. It's like.
Like Bambi on ice. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Just out of interest, is there anyone famous or otherwise that you would really love to dance with?
Oh, well, if I could rise him from the dead, definitely Patrick Swayze, without a shadow of a doubt. Definitely. Well, it was my idol, I'm sure, like many others. But I was very fortunate how I manifest. This is when I look back and think how I manifested so quickly, good things so young. Every day, my friend was sickened with me watching Dirty Dance, and I'd make her get up and do the moves with me of the salsa. And when I was 16, I got took to America myself and another girl on a cross-community venture here from the north. I must have talked that much about it. Dirty dancing this, dirty dancing that. And the family actually, one weekend, we drove to a place, and we drove in, and I was like, how do I know this place? I've never been to America before, and how do I know this place? And when I looked round, it was Mountain Lake, where the movie was filmed. And I was like, there's baby's cabin, there's our cabin. We got to stay in the cabin that weekend. And I had the seats lined up. This is the door Patrick Swayze knocked on. So the gazebo was there. The cabin was there. Different parts of it were in different other locations, but it was not wonderful. And I didn't realise, to be honest with you, Pete, it happened to come up on TV the other night. It's called Mountain Lake. How much that was to stay in per night. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was like $300 and something that family paid that for us, we creators coming from the north of Ireland to stay in that, you know. And when I heard that, I went and reached, I must try and find this family again from when I was 16. So I looked up, so hopefully I will find the family and actually now say a proper thank you, because I'll always remember that.
Wow, I love it. I love it. And one thing you talked about earlier was, and if you could explain a wee bit for us, is affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? If you can give us an overview.
To affirm something. So as, if you remember this, as you say it, so shall it be. And that's the thing with words. So we can affirm something, but without a feeling. It's like what people have done for years in prayer. We can let it ring a rosy stuff out and have no real feeling into it. To affirm something is that you're putting it in, you're sealing the deal. When we affirm something, when we say, I am, that I am healthy, I am well, I am loved, I am abundant. All of those, when you say the I ams and that after it, this is going to be your truth. However, when if you're saying I'm not well, it's not the same as, oh no, I'm sorry, I am sick, or I'm not sick. You're emphasizing on the word, you're putting the focus on the word sick. So we always focus on the positive. But where the word I am is from, Pete, and it has come from biblical terms as well. Now, anything I do about it is not about any organized religion. And because I wrote about this in the book Effortless, and this was a feeling from me that I had put these words, because I am is littered throughout the Bible on everything. I believe whenever Moses, the burning bush, and it said to Moses, you're to go and take the slaves out of Egypt. And he says, well, who will it say sent me? I am that I am. So I absolutely believe when you speak of your I am, you're speaking of your magnificence. And if it's regardless of the thing, I always say, when it's one of the commandments, I shall not take the Lord God's name in vain. Regardless of God's only a word, and it's not saying only. But when I speak those words, I am, whatever I follow that with, should I take that in vain for me, my true self, or what way do I choose to put this out? But it's having the feeling. And anybody will tell you with affirmations when they are sick. A man that had leukemia, a man that rose from a hospital bed and had a choice with the energy that he had none of, either to go to the toilet or go to a shower. And he looked at himself in the mirror and he says, I am healthy and well. I am strong. My body every day is growing stronger. I am healthy. I am well. And he repeated and he repeated and he repeated. And that's the gratitude. And he gave thanks for his body. And he gave thanks for his legs that carried him to the bathroom that day. And everything grows stronger. For what you feed with love will grow. What you feed with anger as well will grow, but it grows in all the wrong things in life. So to affirm something, and that's to be mindful of our words, that I am miserable. How are you today? I'm not well. Okay. When I go down, how are you? I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. I feel great. And when you say it,
Interesting how, and I suppose what sprung back into my head there, is almost being ready. So being grateful and being thankful and visualizing it is all about being ready. And is it an acceptance thing, do you think? To accept something in, is that what being ready is all about?
yeah, it's all the one thing, really, isn't it? It's our true self. My absolute and total belief that we have all came from a divine love. It is within us. So it can't be anything else. other than gratitude, other than love, other than acceptance, other than empathy, other than compassion. So that's what we're off. That's what we're all off. But through conditioning, through the years, from our parents, from teachers, from everything that has gone on in the past, we've become conditioned, and then we filter. We go the other direction, which makes life hard, And but some people, they're all right with that. They're okay with that, and that's how life is, because it was like that for their parents and their parents before. So it's a case of who am I? Who am I, to think of or do anything different, rather than who I am.
It's interesting, I suppose, as you say, it's being ready to change, it's being ready to accept, it's being ready to make a difference. There's all different ways, and it's not everyone's cup of tea, and some people will not want to change, and that's their choice. Whereas some people are in a circumstance or otherwise that will want to change. And
Well, people that don't want to change and have a life that is not to their satisfaction, we always go into victim mode, that it's the government's fault, that it's my boss's fault, that it's the man that I sit beside at work's fault, that it's the weather's fault, that it's they sort of are in, they will have a reason as to why they're feeling the way that they're feeling, because it's something outside of them. And I have had people that have contacted me for help, but they're not ready for making the change. I had a lady that messaged that she was in a marriage for 35 years, and her children were growing up and they were away, and that her husband doesn't tell her that he loves her. He doesn't take her out anywhere. He doesn't buy her anything, didn't buy her nothing for Christmas, and she was depressed. Now, I have empathy, I have understanding, because we've had that depression within our own family. But the thing is, that lady was looking me to fix everything outside of her in order for her to feel better. When I asked her the question, when was the last time that you looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I love you? When was the last time you bought yourself a gift? When was the last time you took yourself out for a night? When was there any of those times? And when we cannot do something for ourselves, there is no expectation for anybody or anything outside of us. If I cannot do that for me, why would I expect that of someone else? So sometimes people are not prepared to change because they don't feel that they're the problem. And when you feel you're not the problem, well, then everything else is.
it's very interesting. I suppose it's understanding that actually none of us are perfect either, and giving
Mm-hmm.
ourselves a bit of break. So no, that's really useful. Just a few final questions to sort of go through. What's your favorite waste of time?
You're mad. You guys going to break into sound. My favorite waste of time. Well, I do like to be learning. I like to sit down with my Spanish. I don't know if that's a waste of time or what
Slightly
is a waste of time.
waste of time. Slightly tongue in cheek. That yeah, because these days people don't tend to want to waste time, but it's a guilty pleasure. Your guilty pleasure.
Um, Geez, Pete, I'd have to think on that one now. It would probably just be maybe. But here's my guilty pleasure. But I'm in Tenerife time. My wee siestas. I always like to take, but I'm manifesting, and I don't feel guilty. Anything, I don't feel guilty about anything, so I can't answer that because that's dropping my vibration if I go down to guilt. But I can't answer that one for you now.
Mm. Even learning Spanish, it's even a guilty pleasure there. If that's something that takes it on. It was just interesting. Secondly, do you have a name for your house in Tenerife?
Yes, I do indeed. It's called Casa de la Rosa.
What does
I
that mean?
have this all wrote out, House of Rose, because I'm Evelyn Rose, my daughter's Erin Rose, my mother was Rose, my logo is a purple rose. There's roses, my nieces are all, and we've all roses somewhere. My house, there's roses every road. So I have that. It's called Casa de la Rosa,
Lovely.
House of the Rose.
What age do you see yourself as?
What age do I see myself as? I don't. I see myself. I see myself as this age because
That's
I
good.
think I make this age look all right.
Love it. Love it.
I
Yeah.
think I look all right for 60.
You're not
Turning
60,
60.
are you?
Yes, I am on my next birthday.
Gee, Mac. I would never have guessed. Never have
What
guessed.
would you have guessed now, Pete?
I'm not going down that street because that's no. It's no. Jeez, I wouldn't have put you.
Actually, it's my birthday now on the 20th of May.
Ah, well, happy
I'll
birthday.
turn 46.
There you go.
And every change, everything that I have done in my life from 11 years ago now, sorry, has been before my birthday. Any big decisions that I make, any moves that I make, anything, it's before my birthday. Because A Life You Want came out on the 17th of May. So it's nearly a year as a baby now, my firstborn. And people were receiving it on my birthday. And 10 years previous to that, on the 17th of May, what I class as began the second part of my life. I was married for 12 years and have 3 kids. So that was on the 17th of May. The second book, Effortless, we had no set date of when it was going to come out, but on the 3rd of March, that wee book was released, and that was 20 years, 2020, so, of my mother's passing. So they're all beautiful dates that the wee book has happened, the books have come out on.
Beautiful. Give us a quick summary about the books then for people so they know what they're going to get.
Am I disappearing into the background here?
No, you're good.
A Life You Want is, I always want to, what I believe my purpose is, tell people, or not to tell people, to share with people what I believe we all are, that you are much, much more than you actually really believe. A Life You Want is ordinary, everyday people's stories and how they manifest, how they bring things into their lives by a certain steps, thoughts, words, actions, and acting as if and stepping past fear. So that's what A Life You Want is about, how to create that there, how to bring it in. And it's easy to understand. Everything that I have written, nobody will ever have to Google any words. So that's what that book is about. And a lot of people can relate to it because it's not far-fetched, It's not the Oprah Winfrey story or, your story, Pete. Like, I wouldn't be putting your story because that's too far-fetched for people say, I can't relate to that. Effortless, then, I knew there was going to be questions that would arise from A Life You Want. But okay, so I'm trying this positive stuff, but what if I'm in an environment where people are being negative? How do I change that about? Or everyday questions that people had, like about children. There's a lot about the education system in it too, about Educo, what I believe it is, and that I don't. It's a huge requirement. It's nothing outside of us will ever bring what we truly are. No certificate, no paper, anything. But Effortless was about when we allow, when we accept, and it's of least. There's no hard push work. Again, it's all the change of a thought, inspired action. I'm telling you, people, events, situations all flow to you in order to create what it is that you want. When a lot of people, even making the phones, iPhones, if you were to ask them at the beginning, how are you going to make that at the start? I'll tell you when I'm finished, because everything unfolds as it is to happen. Because you'd be so overwhelmed. Imagine if somebody was to tell you what you're going to be doing in 6 years' time. I wouldn't want to know. I wouldn't want to know. I think I'd be a bit overwhelmed by it, by the amount of traveling I'm going to do, the people I'm going to meet, the money I'm going to make. It would just send me into shock.
Right, I love it.
So
I love it. Good to get
that's what
out
the
there.
books are about. Hmm.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, tell us your website then is evelynmcaleer.com.
That's correct.
So people
Hmm.
can reach out to you there, and then all the usual social media channels. So that's great.
That's it. Good.
Evelyn, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for clearing up some of those stuffs, and all about being ready. And yeah, hopefully that helps people to get ready. So thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. Enjoy that night.